Do you find yourself constantly focused on future goals, never quite satisfied with where you are right now? If so, you're not alone. Many of us fall into the trap of always running towards something, always looking ahead, and missing out on the richness of the present moment. In this video, we'll explore why we keep running, the costs of this mindset, and how we can learn to live more fully in the here and now. Let's start by examining what we call the running mindset. This is the tendency to always focus on what's next rather than what's happening right now. It's a common habit that many of us develop without even realizing it. We're taught from a young age to set goals, plan for the future, and always strive for more. While these aren't inherently bad things, they can lead us to constantly live in anticipation of the future, neglecting the present moment. This running mindset often stems from a deep-seated belief that happiness lies just around the corner. We think, once I achieve this goal, then I'll be happy. Or, when I get that promotion, my life will be perfect. The problem is, when we reach that goal or get that promotion, we quickly set our sights on the next thing. It's an endless cycle that keeps us running but never truly arriving. Living this way comes at a cost. When we're always focused on the future, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. We might not fully appreciate the beauty of a sunset, the warmth of a friend's smile, or the simple pleasure of a good meal. These small moments of joy pass us by as we rush towards our next goal. Moreover, constantly running towards the future can lead to stress and anxiety. We put pressure on ourselves to achieve more, do more, be more. This pressure can be overwhelming, leading to burnout and a sense of never being good enough. It's exhausting to always be chasing after something, never allowing ourselves to rest and enjoy where we are. But there's good news. We don't have to keep running. We can learn to live more fully in the present moment, to appreciate the here and now. This is where the concept of mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is simply the practice of being aware of the present moment without judgment. It's about paying attention to what's happening right now, both around us and within us. Practicing mindfulness doesn't mean we stop planning for the future or working towards our goals. Instead, it means we learn to balance our future aspirations with an appreciation for the present moment. We can still have goals and dreams, but we don't pin all our happiness on achieving them. We learn to find joy and fulfillment in the journey itself, not just the destination. So how can we start living more in the present? It starts with awareness. Begin by noticing when you're caught up in thoughts about the future. Are you worrying about an upcoming presentation? Daydreaming about your next vacation? When you catch yourself doing this, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. What can you see, hear, feel, smell, or taste right now? One simple way to practice mindfulness is through breathing exercises. Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. This simple practice can help ground you in the present moment and reduce stress and anxiety. Another way to cultivate presence is by practicing gratitude. Each day, take a moment to appreciate something in your life. It could be something as simple as a warm cup of coffee or a comfortable bed to sleep in. By focusing on what we're grateful for, we shift our attention from what we lack to what we have, helping us appreciate the present moment more fully. It's also helpful to engage fully in whatever you're doing. When you're eating, really taste your food. When you're talking with a friend, give them your full attention. When you're working, focus on the task at hand rather than worrying about what's next on your to-do list. By fully engaging in our activities, we naturally become more present and alive in each moment. Living in the present doesn't mean we ignore the future entirely. It's about finding a balance between planning for tomorrow and appreciating today. We can still set goals and work towards them, but we do so from a place of presence and awareness. Instead of constantly running towards the future, we learn to walk steadily, appreciating each step along the way. This balance allows us to enjoy the process of working towards our goals, not just the end result. When we're present, we're more likely to notice opportunities and insights that can help us along our path. We're also more resilient in the face of setbacks, as we're not pinning all our happiness on a future outcome. Living in the present also has profound effects on our relationships. When we're fully present with others, we listen more deeply, connect more authentically, and show genuine care and interest. This presence can greatly improve our relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues. Being present can also boost our creativity and productivity. When we're not constantly distracted by thoughts of the future, we can focus more fully on the task at hand. This allows us to enter a state of flow where we're fully absorbed in what we're doing. In this state, we often produce our best work and come up with our most creative ideas. Of course, learning to live in the present isn't always easy. We face many challenges and distractions in our modern world. Smartphones, social media, and constant notifications all pull us away from the present moment. It's important to be aware of these distractions and set boundaries around their use. Another challenge is our own mind's tendency to wander. It's natural for our thoughts to drift to the past or future. The key is not to eliminate these thoughts entirely, which is impossible, but to notice when we're caught up in them and gently bring our attention back to the present. Fear can also keep us from fully living in the present. We might worry about what could go wrong if we're not constantly planning and preparing for the future. But remember, being present doesn't mean we stop planning altogether. It just means we do so from a place of balance and awareness, rather than anxiety and constant striving. To help overcome these challenges and cultivate presence, we can incorporate some simple daily practices into our lives. Start your day with a few minutes of mindful breathing or meditation. This can help set a tone of presence for the rest of your day. Throughout the day, take short mindfulness breaks. Set an alarm on your phone to remind you to pause for a minute or two and check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What's happening around you? This simple practice can help bring you back to the present moment multiple times throughout your day. Try incorporating mindfulness into everyday activities. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. When you're washing dishes, feel the warmth of the water and the texture of the dishes. These everyday moments are opportunities to practice presence. At the end of the day, reflect on moments when you felt fully present. What did you notice? How did it feel? Celebrating these moments of presence can encourage you to seek out more of them. As you begin to live more in the present, you might notice a ripple effect in your life. You may find yourself feeling more calm and centered. Your relationships might improve as you become more fully present with others. You might even inspire those around you to be more mindful and present in their own lives. Living in the present isn't about achieving a perfect state of constant awareness. It's a practice, something we return to again and again. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep coming back to the present moment, to keep choosing presence over constant running. The present moment is where life actually happens. It's where we connect with others, where we create, where we experience joy and growth. By learning to live more fully in the here and now, we open ourselves up to the richness and beauty of life that's always available to us. So the next time you catch yourself running towards the future, pause. Take a deep breath. Look around you. What do you notice? What can you appreciate at this moment? You might be surprised at the joy and fulfillment you can find right here, right now. Living in the present doesn't mean we give up on our dreams or stop working towards our goals. It means we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the process, not just the outcome. It means we stop putting our happiness on hold, waiting for some future event to make everything perfect. Instead, we learn to find happiness and meaning in the here and now. This shift in perspective can be truly life-changing. When we're no longer constantly running towards the future, we can actually enjoy the journey we're on. We can appreciate the small moments of beauty and joy that we might otherwise miss. We can connect more deeply with others and with ourselves. Moreover, living in the present can actually help us achieve our goals more effectively. When we're present, we're more focused and productive. We're better able to notice opportunities and insights that can help us along our path. We're also more resilient in the face of setbacks, as we're not pinning all our hopes on a future outcome. It's important to note that living in the present doesn't mean we ignore the lessons of the past or the possibilities of the future. We can still learn from our experiences and plan for what's ahead. The key is to do so from a place of present awareness, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. One of the beautiful things about learning to live in the present is that it's a skill anyone can develop. It doesn't require any special equipment or circumstances. You can practice presence anywhere, at any time. Whether you're sitting in traffic, waiting in line at the grocery store, or in the middle of a busy workday, you always have the opportunity to come back to the present moment. As you continue to practice living in the present, you might notice some profound changes in your life. You might find that you're less stressed and anxious. You might sleep better at night, no longer kept awake by worries about the future. You might find more joy in everyday activities as you learn to fully engage with whatever you're doing. You might also notice changes in your relationships. When we're fully present with others, we listen more deeply and connect more authentically. We're better able to empathize with others and respond to their needs. This presence can greatly improve our relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues. Living in the present can also enhance our creativity. When we're not constantly distracted by thoughts of the future, we're more open to new ideas and insights. We might find ourselves coming up with creative solutions to problems or expressing ourselves in new and exciting ways. It's worth noting that living in the present doesn't mean we're always happy or that we ignore difficult emotions. Being present means being aware of whatever we're experiencing, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or any other emotion. The difference is that we learn to experience these emotions without getting caught up in stories about the past or future. We learn to feel our feelings fully, knowing that they, like everything else, are temporary. As you continue on this path of living more fully in the present, be patient with yourself. Like any skill, it takes time and practice to develop. There will be days when you find it easier to be present and days when you struggle. That's okay. The important thing is to keep coming back to the practice, to keep choosing presence over running. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again. If you find yourself caught up in thoughts about the future, simply notice it and gently bring your attention back to the present. Each time you do this, you're strengthening your ability to live in the here and now. Living in the present is not about achieving some perfect state of constant awareness. It's about developing a new relationship with the present moment. It's about learning to appreciate and engage with life as it's happening, rather than always looking ahead to what's next. As you continue to practice living in the present, you might find that your whole perspective on life begins to shift. Instead of seeing life as a series of goals to be achieved, you might start to see it as a journey to be experienced and enjoyed. You might find more meaning and fulfillment in everyday moments, rather than always waiting for some big event in the future. This shift in perspective can be truly liberating. When we're no longer constantly running towards the future, we can relax into the present moment. We can appreciate the beauty and wonder of life that's always available to us, if only we take the time to notice it. So the next time you find yourself running towards the future, pause, take a deep breath. Look around you. What do you notice? What can you appreciate at this moment? You might be surprised at the richness and beauty you find right here, right now. The present moment is all we ever really have. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. By learning to live more fully in the present, we open ourselves up to the fullness of life. We stop running and start living. This doesn't mean we give up on our goals or stop planning for the future. It simply means we learn to do so from a place of presence and awareness. We learn to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. We learn to find fulfillment and joy in the process of working towards our goals, not just in achieving them. As you continue on this path of living more fully in the present, you might find that it affects every aspect of your life. Your work might become more fulfilling as you learn to engage fully with each task. Your relationships might deepen as you become more present with others. You might even find more enjoyment in simple, everyday activities as you learn to give them your full attention. Living in the present is a lifelong journey. It's not something we achieve once and for all, but a practice we return to again and again. Each moment is an opportunity to choose presence over running, to choose engagement over distraction. So as you go about your day, remember to pause occasionally. Take a deep breath. Look around you. What do you notice? What can you appreciate at this moment? By doing this, you're not just stopping your constant running. You're opening yourself up to the richness and beauty of life that's always available in the here and now. The wisdom of living in the here and now is not about ignoring the future or forgetting the past. It's about finding a balance, about learning to appreciate and engage with life as it's happening. It's about stopping the constant running and learning to be where we are. So the next time you find yourself caught up in thoughts about the future, remember, the present moment is where life actually happens. It's where we connect, where we create, where we experience joy and growth. By learning to live more fully in the here and now, we open ourselves up to the fullness of life. This journey towards living in the present is not always easy, but it is infinitely rewarding. It allows us to experience life more fully, to connect more deeply, and to find joy and fulfillment in the everyday moments that make up our lives. So take a deep breath, look around you. What do you notice? What can you appreciate right now at this moment? This is your life, happening right here, right now. Are you ready to stop running and start living?